I just got back from the range, and they're doing my usual, a little bit of shooting, a lot of thinking. And, you know, I was thinking about churches, and part of our commission is to reach out to the sick. And the question is, and the test I have, okay, I realize that how we act when people have a physical malady, when maybe they have cancer, or maybe they have, extreme emphysema, or they have some debilitating condition, end up in the hospital, maybe not end up in the hospital, but we know there's a need. And we, to some level, step up to that need. What if the person is mentally ill? Here's the true test. What if that person is mentally ill? What if they suffer from chronic depression? What if they suffer from major depressive disorder? What if they have one of these maladies, these mental illness maladies? Do we shun them? Do we pretend that we have equal care for them? Do we visit them? Do we talk with them? Do we counsel them? Do we take them aside and pray for them? Do we? That's a true test. Okay? Or are we still afraid? Are we still in Middle Ages? Get thee away from me, Satan. Are we still like that? There's a lot of people that have, at one degree or another, depressive disorders or bipolar disorders or some mental illness of that nature. And we have to understand that that condition either permanently or temporarily disables them, equally to not have an arm or a leg, equally to having cancer, equally to losing a lung to emphysema or cancer, or equally, in fact, more so. There's a term I ran across that a famous psychologist who specialized in the study of in the pre-mortem and the post-mortem study of suicide, and he coined a term called psych-ache. That's that incontrovertible pain, psychological pain, that leads to despair. Now, we understand that when somebody has, we may not validate it, but we understand when somebody has a severe medical condition, let's say a person is dying of cancer, and they take their own life. We understand that. We understand this person was constant pain, that he was never going to be out of pain, and this person took their own life. Now, we don't validate that. We don't think it's the right thing to do. But at some level, we understand that because we all understand physical pain. We don't all understand emotional pain and mental pain as it relates to mental illness. We've all been blue. We've all been moments where we were really down, where things bad happened, but came out of it. Can you imagine being that depressed, sobbingly depressed, and it never ending, and you not knowing why? You spend your life trying to figure out why, and you don't know why. It's because your brain is malfunctioning. We can accept any organ in the body malfunctioning and support that person through that malfunction, praying that that malfunction be alleviated. But do we do it when it is the most complicated organ in the body, the human brain? I don't see that we do. I see that we still stay away from that person. That person's weird. He's different. She's different. Now, granted, that condition is taxing. You think it's taxing for you? Try the person who suffers with it, who has to carry it around with him every day. And then we turn around and idiots say, well, that person is weak. But you understand something. Somebody suffered from chronic depression every day of their life, and still functioning and still living is probably stronger than you are. Okay? That momentary where you were unable to function when you were depressed because somebody in your life passed away or your marriage broke up or something like that. Imagine functioning with that every day of your life. You get a grip on that. The test of the church in taking care of the body, is how do you take care of those people who are mentally ill? Do you classify them, set them aside, treat them like inferior, or keep away from them, or semi-ostracize them? Just go up and give them a little smile at church when you see them just to be polite? Or do you do the same thing you do to the person who has cancer, who is dying of some disease, or who has lost some limbs, or maybe he's been in a car crash and he's severely injured? Do you do the same thing for somebody who's mentally ill as you do for those other people? There's your test. And I don't care who you are. I could care less who you are. If you can't live up to that test, then your Christianity is in question, because you are placing values, judgments, not based on the Word of God, but based on your own biases. We have names for people who are afraid of, or who castigate other people due to race or due to culture. We have tags for them, and we pretty much know that somebody who is like that, it seems like the whole world is like that with mentally ill. Okay? Seems like the whole world is like that, including the church. Okay? Do you visit them? Do you come and see them, say hi? Do you understand that when you do, and they don't want any company, they're in the middle of their depression, and not get upset about that? Well, I tried, and he said no one time. Okay? You got to keep on sticking your hand out there. You got to keep on offering. Okay? This person is not thinking right, or this person is reacting to his disease, which is a disease just like any other disease. It is injuries just like any other injuries. Woman has osteoporosis. She falls down and breaks her hip. She has a disease. She has a condition, a medical condition, and we run in to help her. The person falls into a deep depression because they are chronically depressed, clinically depressed, or bipolar disease. Or if you have bipolar disease, they're going through a manic episode or a hypomanic episode. Do we step in there and say, look, get a hold of yourself? Or do we just kind of stand back and talk to each other? Just talk to each other. Just gossip. Let's gossip about this weird person. Really? Let's gossip about somebody who has major cancer. Let's make some gossip up about that. It is no different. It is no different. You got that? It's not different. You're biased. You're prejudiced. It takes you away from Christ. It takes you the other way. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're a pastor. I don't care if you're a bishop. I don't care if you're the head of the whole denomination. If you act that way, you are acting outside the bounds of being a Christian. That's true. Call me on it if you want. Go ahead. Right, that's what I got to say about that. Put your biases aside. Illness is illness, whether it's physical illness, whether it's mental illness, it's still illness. And God calls you to act the same way, regardless. All right, you have a nice day.